We've mentioned how, thanks to its competitive price, the MacBook Air M1 2020 is helping challenge people's preconceptions about the image of it, while leaving the actual design of the device completely unchanged. This is both good news and bad news. First, the good news. For many people, the iconic design of the MacBook Air is pretty much perfect, so they don't see the need for any radical change. At the same time, by simply offering minor spec bumps every year, the MacBook Air was in danger of being outclassed by more ambitious rivals. So, by concentrating on revolutionizing the hardware of the MacBook Air, and not tinkering with the design, Apple is doing something many of its critics have argued it should do: focus on the unglamorous, yet essential, stuff. But what about the bad news? Well, because the MacBook Air M1 2020 promises to be such a big revolution, the fact that it looks, and feels, exactly the same as previous MacBook Airs is a little disappointing, to put it mildly. The MacBook Air M1 2020 has dimensions of 0.16 to 0.63 x 11.97 by 8.36 inches, 0.41 to 1.61 x 30.41 x 21.24 centimeters, and weight of 2.8 pounds, 1.29 kilograms, are exactly the same as those of both the MacBook Air 2020 and the 2019 model, and virtually the same as those of the 2018 Air, which is a bit lighter. On the outside, then, this MacBook Air looks identical to the three previous models, and it means that the excitement that comes with pulling the MacBook Air from its packaging is somewhat dulled, particularly if you've owned one of those earlier machines. There had been rumors that the move to Apple's own silicon would result in lighter devices, but this isn't the case. One big design change that has been enabled by the M1 chip, though, is that the MacBook Air M1 2020 is now fanless. This means the internals keep cool enough under workloads without the need for fans to kick in and cool them down. There's a catch to this, which we'll get to in a bit, but it means the fingerprint scanner we've used on a laptop. Too many of the fingerprint scanners on Windows laptops struggle to log us in reliably, but the Touch ID button here logged us in successfully pretty much every time, even when we not completely covered the scanner with a finger. The screen is also virtually the same as the one on the MacBook Air 2020, except for one big difference. So, it's still 13.3 inches with a 400 nit LED backlit display, and a Retina display of 2560 by 1600 resolution, and comes with Apple's True Tone technology, which automatically adjusts the color temperature on the screen based on the ambient light. What's new here is that the MacBook Air M1 2020 S screen now supports the P3 wide color gamut, which results in more accurate, true-to-life images. P3 support used to be only found in the more expensive MacBook Pros, so it's great to see Apple bring this feature to its more affordable MacBook Air lineup. If you're a photographer or video editor who requires accurate colors, you no longer have to automatically go for a MacBook Pro. The screen is also surrounded by those big thick bezels that have been a staple of the MacBook Air's design for ages now, and which leave this laptop feeling a little dated. Devices such as the Dell XPS 13 and the Huawei MateBook X 2020 offer incredibly thin bezels around the display, and not only does it make these devices look more modern, it means the makers can actually reduce the overall size of the laptop further while offering the same size screen. Yep, you read that right. We think Huawei has the edge over Apple when it comes to thin and light laptop design. Strange times indeed. The webcam above the screen is also unchanged from last time, with the same 720p FaceTime webcam. The 720p resolution feels distinctly outdated when most competitors offer 1080p, and with more people spending more time working from home these days, we'd have liked Apple to have given the webcam a boost. However, the company claims that thanks to the M1 chip, the image signal processor has been overhauled, giving the webcam supposedly better noise reduction and dynamic range, along with auto white balance. We've only used the webcam for a limited time so far, and it seemed fine, if not mind-blowing. Port-wise, you get the same two Thunderbolt 3 ports and an audio jack as on recent MacBook Airs. The Thunderbolt 3 ports support charging, and can be used to power external monitors, and transfer data up to 40 gigabits per second. We're glad to see that Apple's move to its own M1 chip, rather than Intel, hasn't meant the loss of the Thunderbolt ports. Thunderbolt is an interface developed by Intel.